Okay, I am trying this vertical live stream. So I've never done this before. So let me know if it's kind of goofy, but I am going to make live outrageous chocolate chip cookies. Now these are from a cookbook, from a senior perspective cookbook that we get from a very, very small town in northern Minnesota. So this recipe is submitted by an elderly lady and they looked fantastic, so I was gonna give them a try. So it's called Outrageous Chocolate Chip Cookies. I am making a half a recipe just because I can't eat all of this food, and I'm going to be giving this away as soon as I'm done. So if you're one of my neighbors, you're gonna be super excited to get cookies. So you need a half a cup of butter. And I'm gonna mix this myself in this bowl. And we need a half a cup of sugar, which I forgot, so we'll be right back. I have these old-fashioned containers. Okay, so half a cup of sugar. A third cup of brown sugar. So I should go get that. Okay, the third cup sugar, we want to make sure that is pressed like that. Okay, we're gonna mix that together. Like that. All right, now the fun part. They're kind of like monster cookies, I feel like, but maybe just a little bit different. Okay, we need a half a cup of peanut butter. Put that in there. I love peanut butter. I don't know who else absolutely loves peanut butter besides my dogs, but okay, so a half a cup of peanut butter. Okay, we're gonna stick that in there. Okay, mix that up. Oh, they already smell similar to monster cookies, but with a chocolate chip cookie base. Okay, so now we have 1 egg we're gonna add. Maybe. I'm gonna get the shell in there. No, I'm not. We're gonna make it. Okay, 1 egg. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, I'm going to mix that together. Now my other bowls were dirty from the banana cream pie I made this morning. My Pyrex ones, you can see it. But so we're getting a nice thick mixture like that. Now I've never done this live before, so I can see some people are joining. So if you have questions, I think you can ask them on here, and I'll just kind of watch it. Okay, 1 cup of flour. Now, today is our first day of 60s. I'm in northern Minnesota. I'm using my 3rd cup, so I need 3 of these. But I'm still in shorts. I wear shorts until it gets to be like 50 degrees out. Okay, half a cup of oatmeal. I lost my half cup, so we'll go with the half of the one. And I'm using the old-fashioned oats. Okay, so add that. Mix that up. And then the last dry ingredient, which we should probably get in, is a half a teaspoon of baking soda. All right. Okay, keep mixing that. Okay, and then the last step is adding the chocolate chips. So I'm gonna add about 6 ounces of chocolate chips, about a half a bag. I use the Aldi's chocolate chips. These are the milk chocolate ones. They're the best. I feel like this vertical live stream is strange, but somebody suggested I try it, so we'll give it a try and see if it works. Maybe I'll try to get old Granny on here on the live stream. She's on the floor behind me. Okay, so then we have the oven at 350 degrees. I've already got it preheated. So I'm gonna use my cookie scoop. I will link these. These are the best cookie scoops ever. You don't get your hands dirty. I'm gonna grab my tray. All right, and then we're gonna start scooping them. So these come out to about the size of a golf ball. I actually have 2 different sizes. Maybe what I should do is do half and half. I think this is the number 10, and then I have a number 16. So we have some neighbor kids that are in 5th and 7th grade, and they love that I have a YouTube channel because they benefit from a lot of these cookies. Okay, so this looks like it's gonna make about 24 cookies, and this is a half a batch of the one that I actually have out of the cookbook. So I'll post the full recipe. So this is what they look like. Ultimate chocolate chip cookies, outrageous chocolate chip cookies, and I will show you what they look like when they come out of the oven. And I hope you enjoyed this live stream. I'm not gonna make you stay on for 10 minutes while I bake them, unless you really would like to. I can put them in the oven and we can see. I'll put them in the oven and then just keep talking to you. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going the rest of these while we wait, and then I can show you what they look like when they come out of the oven. So definitely starting to get into fall baking. The next thing I'm gonna be making is sweet and sour meatloaf for supper tonight with buttercup squash. And I'm gonna show you how to make the perfect buttercup squash that even your kids will eat. If you can get buttercup squash from where you are. It's kind of a produce in this area. I'm gonna try to get all these on one sheet. But you know, I've seen them in the grocery stores, so you must be able to get them like no matter what your location is. I'm gonna go 5 in a row. So these cookies are actually relatively simple. All right, I think I got them all. So I made about 24 cookies with that half. So I would think that even a half a batch of these is plenty unless you have a huge family. Okay, so we'll get that. Okay, so to reiterate what these cookies are, these are the outrageous chocolate chip cookies. This recipe is from Myrna from northern Minnesota. We have this really fun cookbook called The Senior Perspective. They come out with it every year, and so it's mostly elderly people that have these amazing recipes that are stored probably on paper, and they submit them to this place, and then they just create this cookbook. I think the cookbook costs like $1.50. Remember, we're in way northern Minnesota, so these cookie recipes are probably 100 years old from somebody's farm or mother that lived that long. Okay, we've got 7 minutes left on the cookies. So what else can we talk about? We can visit with old Granny. Old Granny, do you want to get up and say hi? I've got old Granny behind me. She's the star of some of our show, and I don't know if I can move the camera to get to her, but so this is my first live, so if you're watching me live, and I see there are quite a few people watching, I live in northern Minnesota, and we live in the woods on about 50 acres, and we have a huge amount of bear, deer, wolves, coyotes, foxes, all different kinds of things that you can think of. Oh, okay, I do have people asking me that if they can have a cookie. Well, yes, you could have a cookie if you were close to me, or if you were my neighbors, because they get most of these cookies when they're done. Okay, so I'll tell you the ingredients. This is from the Senior Perspective Cookbook. It's a Myrna from northern Minnesota. This is her cookie. So it's a half a cup of butter, softened in the microwave, a half a cup of sugar. So if you're writing this down, I'm actually gonna post this recipe too for you if you want it. A third cup of brown sugar, a cup of peanut butter. I use Aldi's peanut butter. It's very similar to Jif, half the price. I'm very frugal with what it costs to cook nowadays. Everybody should be. 1 egg, a half a teaspoon of vanilla, 1 cup of flour, a half a cup of rolled oats. These are also old-fashioned oats from Aldi's. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I omit the salt. And actually you'll notice in all of my recipes, I omit the salt because I use salted butter. And if I put more salt in, I feel like everything is way too salty. So I do not put salt in. If you like salty cookies, you can add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then 6 ounces of chocolate chips. And I am using milk chocolate chips, also from Aldi. And I tell everybody that I do most of my shopping at Aldi's. I have to drive a long way to get groceries. So we make really big runs. And Aldi tends to be like the most economical. We do have Walmart delivery, so we can get Walmart stuff, but it always seems like Aldi is the way cheaper price. So then after you mix all of that up, like I showed from the beginning, you will want to use the cookie scoop like this. So this is my number 10, and I also have a number 16, which will make 4-inch cookies. These are gonna make 2-inch cookies. So this is one of my favorite tips and tricks for cookies. So you wanna do that on an ungreased cookie sheet, and you bake them at 350 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. I've got 4 minutes left on the ones coming out of the oven. I also wanna talk about, earlier I made a banana cream pie. I can pull that out of the fridge, but my husband loves banana cream pie, and he, it's really not banana cream season, but we had a pie crust that we needed to use. I'm a new empty nester, so my last daughter just went to college, and we have all of this food that we don't eat a ton of in our pantry, so I'm trying to use up some of that. So I made a banana cream pie. I'll grab it and I'll show it to you. So I don't put the bananas on the top because they get brown and moldy. But this recipe I made this morning. So this is a really good banana cream pie with a store-bought graham cracker crust. So this might be another recipe that you might be interested in, for sure. And then for supper tonight, I might have said this already. Like I said, I'm new to this live stream. I'm making a sweet and sour meatloaf with buttercup squash. And I'm gonna film how to make the meatloaf. The meatloaf is one of my kids' favorite meatloafs. Unfortunately, a meatloaf lasts my husband and I days and days and days. So we probably will use the mini pans. So I'm gonna do that. And then the buttercup squash I have to go pick up at the farmer's market. We have like a wagon that people set out with that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna pull that out too. And I've got 2 minutes left and they'll be ready, and I wanna show them to you, so I don't wanna get off. This is my 16-inch scooper, or my number 16. So this one will make 3 to 4-inch cookies, depending on what kind of cookie they are. Really, the only time I use this, I usually use it more for cupcakes than anything. But this is a really nice tool to have too. I have it in my Amazon storefront if you wanted to look at that. You sure can, but so that is the difference between this dirty, but the number 10 and the number 16. This one's good for the 2-inch cookies. This one's good for the 3 to 4-inch cookies or cupcakes. And actually, when I make meatballs, like Swedish meatballs or barbecue meatballs, I'll actually use the bigger one because everybody really likes the large meatballs. So, okay, we have about a minute. I'm gonna check the cookies and see what they look like. Okay, they need about 1 more minute. So for those of you that are just joining in, we're making outrageous ultimate chocolate chip cookies. This is from a senior perspective cookbook that we get once a year in northern Minnesota. And this recipe is from Myrna. So we're just kind of waiting for the cookies to come out of the oven. Let's talk about these vertical live streams. So this is the first time I've ever done a vertical live stream. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work. I've seen some people popping in and out and some people that are leaving comments. So I'm trying to respond to the comments as they come in. It's a little uncomfortable being live. I can't edit anything out. So I feel like I'm saying a lot, but I think we'll probably get it. So again, my favorite peanut butter from Aldi we're using in this recipe, and my favorite milk chocolate chips we're using in this recipe too. Okay, so if you just want to hang with me for 1 minute, the cookies are almost done, and I have a squeaky oven door. So that is one bad thing that we've had people over here to try to fix it, and nobody can fix my squeaky oven door besides getting a new oven. So that is not going to happen. So we just have to deal with the squeak. So if it squeaks, you know that my oven is opening. But 20 seconds until the cookies are done. Only 20 seconds. That's the bad part about live, is I can't just stop it and then restart it. So we'll be patient. Okay, timer's going off. Need to check them. Okay, and they look perfect. So this is what they look like coming out of the oven. 10 minutes at 350. This is a really good, outrageous chocolate chip cookie recipe, and I think you are going to love it. And look at that, we did the whole recipe and cooked it in 17.42 minutes. I am awesomely proud of myself. Okay, put those up there. I'm back, put the other one in. Well, I hope you enjoyed this live stream, and I'm going to post the recipe in the comments. And my neighbor kids are going to be super excited to try these out when they get home from school. My kids that are probably watching me are probably like, can you send me cookies all the way to North Dakota? No, they'll be rotten before they get there with the mail service. So enjoy.